Halfway to States in the quaint town of Cuba, we were all stationed in the Copper Kettle Dinery, consuming sustenance while our bus was undergoing maintenance. After listening to the lengthy story about anthropology spoken by our radical swim coach Glenn, the youngest swimmer got into a frantic tizzy about how she was so amazing to be a state swimmer. Somewhere between her spastic outbursts and ungodly high-pitched voice, the eldest swimmer snatched her food and told her to shut up. Whilst being the captain, the eldest swimmer displayed a below-average demeanor and lack of responsibility, which resulted in their fellow hippie coach telling her to shut up and don't be a jerk. As the blondest and most giggly of all began to mediate the situation, she offered to tell the tale that had been told 50 times before. Many have described her features as a plank of thriving oak with the dimensions 2 by 4. So out of pity and lack of anything better to do, the girls and the hippie coach agreed to endure the repetitive tale once more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin this tale, I just want to remind you that the blonde girl's stupidest mistakes caused her to fail. I do not know if you knew, but unfortunately, this tale is true. Now that was the last time that I, your lovely narrator, am going to rhyme. Since butt naked does not rhyme with anything, you will soon see that it is best that I tell you the story if you decide to stick around and hear this one. The swimmers had just arrived at their final destination, the state meet pool in Ithaca. They were ready to start warming up with their crusty, worn-out, colorful leggings underneath their suits, similar to how the swimmers dressed at the sectional meet. When they realized that no one else followed their pool taste and fashion, alone and cold on the deck, the young girls realized that they were not in Western New York anymore. After overcoming the initial shock of looking stupid in front of future Olympians, the swimmers finally jumped into the crowded icy pool with the speed similar to that of the hesitant camel. About to walk into a Sears on Black Friday. The way the moms fight and swarm around those marked-down home appliances was the exact behavior that billions of girls followed as they were squished inside of that tiny rectangle of death that most people call a pool. Once the girls took 45 minutes to move 2 lengths, they determined that it was the optimum time to get changed and escape the scornful gaze of the alternative-looking swim coach Glenn. When they made it to the safe haven of the staircase, they realized that they had left one of their own inside the pool. One of the girls stated, "I heard that she wanted to warm up some more." Yet, no amount of comforting words could escape the fact that their friend, teammate, and fellow classmate was long gone. The girls just had to hope that she would return to the meet and meet them behind the blocks before their big race. But until then, the rest of the girls had to get changed. They grabbed the supplies they needed and headed for the nearest bathroom. Since the locker room resembled the chaos at the pool, now, I just wanted to give you a little side story about the suits that these girls had to change into. They are called faskins, and they are tighter than skin tight. Every year, thousands of girls take the lengthy time it needs to put on a faskin swimsuit and endure the excruciating pain when all of the blood flow is cut off to their extremities, in order for them to swim a faster time by 1/10 of a second. So our favorite swimmers, which happen to be the main characters in this story, found a spacey and all-around wonderful bathroom to change in. For extra convenience, there was even a nook in the back end to ensure the girls had maximum privacy. The blondest and giggliest of all the girls exclaimed, "Oh no, I forgot my towel on deck!" And the girls went silent because they knew that without a towel, their friend would have to strip all the way down and change into the swimsuit unprotected. So in order to save her dignity, the blonde girl devised a plan to change behind another little nook, deeper into the bathroom's labyrinth, in hopes that she would have more privacy. The spot was perfect, beside the door at the end, but wanting to disprove the stereotypes of her hair color, the girl realized that the door did not have a handle. So to check the authenticity of its purpose, she pushed the door, and it didn't open. Relieved and running out of time before the first race, the girl knew that she had to start changing. Alone and private, but only a corner away from her teammates. The blonde girl quickly took off all of her clothes, since that was the first step of putting on the suit.
When all of a sudden, the door that didn't open opened. The blonde girl tried to cover her naked body, but it was too late. The door led to the foyer of the college's athletic complex. And as if the situation could not get any worse, the entire college football team all turned their heads to gaze at the shrieking white flesh. Now I'm not quite sure what those young men thought that they were looking at. Maybe a prepubescent boy, an entity from The Walking Dead, or maybe they realized that it in fact was a naked girl. Either way, the blondest girl was completely exposed, and in order to end her shame, the girl who opened the door was apologizing frantically and using all of her strength to try to close the door, but the door was heavy and a slow-moving one. And similar to a curtain closing gracefully after an amazing show, the door with no handle defied the laws of physics and stayed open for an ungodly amount of time. So as the naked girl was screaming, the other girls were trying to close the door. The show attracted more onlookers, forever ensuring that the young blonde girl would receive maximum torment and humiliation.
For the rest of the state meet, the girls ended up making finals and standing on the podium, and finding their friend that they lost in warm-ups.
But for the blondest, giggliest 2x4, she will always remember the time when the entire Ithaca College football team and other civilians saw her completely naked body. Now I share this story for amusement, but also to teach a lesson, so that no other plank of wood has to endure this tragedy. Just know that just because the door doesn't have a handle doesn't mean it doesn't open.